It's not your fault. It's not your fault that you have an internalized discomfort with your hair. The world has made it its mission to make us hate every feature of ourselves, from our skin tone to our hair texture. The world works overtime to make sure that we do not love ourselves.
I did a sewing on my 2-year-old daughter, and guys, when I tell you this hairstyle ate down.
Okay, I'm coming in hard and I do not plan to be nice at all. This is a cancelable offense and I'm ready. I'm out here. You hate black children. You do not love black children.
They're putting a lace front on this kid that looks like a 2-year-old or maybe even a 1 year, 8 months or something like that. Just check how uncomfortable she is. They have to play Cocomelon or whatever it is on the cell phone. The kid is crying, so uncomfortable. And a few adults holding the kid down and everything else just for this, just to put some fake hair on her head.
You don't love black children, and that is why all of you think the natural hair movement is a joke. You think the coily hair movement is a joke because you see it as a movement that's pushing the idea that your black children, who you deem not cute, not pretty, not beautiful, which are all the positive attributes we give to a child that we desire to have. A lot of you think that hating your own children's hair is justified. That is why whenever the natural hair movement talks about, that's why people in the natural hair movement talking about protecting young black girls, making sure that they see their texture fixtured in the media prominently, that they have a positive way to describe their hair. The reason why you make a joke of that is because you do not love that hair. You do not covet it. And I understand this. And this made a lot of sense to me when I realized that a lot of black women were very much concerned about how biracial children are treated. A lot of you like talking about how looser haired children are treated by their mothers because those children have the kind of hair you think is worth combing, you think is worth taking care of.
I have white parents, and they're like, your parents should have taught you to love your hair. Oh, they did. Some of you guys know this, but not all of you. I'm from a predominantly white area. My mom did so much research for my hair. I remember being little and her just watching YouTube videos about black hair. She preached to me to love my hair.
Oh, yes, you're white, but why did you have a biracial child if you didn't care to take care of it? But that logic does not apply to black children. You guys will be online talking about how beneficial it is for a biracial child to grow around people who look like her, to see people who look like her living there every day. Take her to a multiracial a community. She's mixed. She needs to be around different people to feel accepted. You will not say that when it comes to a black child. You will ask that the parents who brought that black child into this world, knowing that there would be dark skins, that they would have coily hair, knowing that child needed support in a world like this, all of you will sit there and ask that we give those individuals grace.
I do not care if you went through childhood trauma. I don't care if you were bullied. I don't care if you were fat. I don't care if you went through a hard time growing up. You have every responsibility to change your life for yourself.
And let me just say that she ate with that.
Oh, the system taught them to hate these features. And the fact that a child is being raised by a mother who hates their features, a father who hates their features is not alarming to you.
I just don't like the people that are self-righteous on their little high horse with their natural hair and their locks, and then it's always the people, the way they wear their natural hair is not even cute. So you're just talking. It's like, I would never want to look like you.
Moving on.
I just think be nice with it. No, be like chill. I would never want to look like you. I would never want
But
to
then
look
we said
like
that
you.
you'll be anti-black, so let's move on.
I don't give a damn.
Black women are taught to be homophobic at home in churches, but you do not excuse our homophobia, do you? No, you confront us, and that's why you should. But not when it comes to texturism, not when it comes to featureism and texturism, not when it comes to any of these things.
When you have children, yeah, how are you gonna take care of their hair? Because the way—
Girl, save your breath. Save your breath. They don't want to hear it. I have been talking about this for a very long time as someone who is very passionate about natural hair, someone who's very passionate about black women wearing their natural hair out. I have been speaking about this to the point of being breathless, okay? And something that I've learned is if they don't listen, they are going to deflect and they are going to project. No matter what your tone is, you can say things in a way that is sugarcoating it. You can say things in a way that is pacifying the situation. You can handhold people. You can baby people. You can talk in a way that is blunt. You can talk in a way that's educational. You can talk in a way that's direct. Regardless of how you deliver it, the message is still going to remain the same, and the people who the message is aimed at will still find a way to be triggered.
A lot of you right now are using words that make it seem like pro-blackness has any and everything to do with actually protecting people who have those features, people who are attacked more for having them, and allowing language that frames it as a form of discrimination that has no look. Black people can look anyhow. All of you are subscribing to 100 rules now.
But I'm gonna teach you now again. We are colored by ethnicity, but by race, we are black. So yes, you are colored, but you are still black. You understand? Just like Zulu and Xhosa, they are different ethnic groups. And all the other men are Sotho.
We have never had a moment when loving being black was about actually loving stereotypical black features. The black features that we mock every day, that we tear everyone down for having. We've never gotten to that point. But whenever it comes time for us to embrace anyone else, anything else, we're there. South Africans are online now encouraging an enforcement of the one-drop rule here in South Africa. Yes, black South Africans are saying that colored South Africans are black. They were always racialized as black. According to them, being colored was just an ethnicity. It had nothing at all to do with race, which makes no sense because you know what? Black South Africans are championing that along. Us, people who are not allowed to wear our own hair in our own schools, in our own countries, and majority black countries.
While we're on this natural hair discourse, do you know that growing up in Nigeria, they made me shave my hair to the skin? It was required by my school. All the girls in my school, shave your head to your skin, bald, because it was bushy, unkempt, and disgusting. Babes, we all had the same type of hair.
People who are already put down for not having features of the people you now wish to absorb into a group that already has less resources, that already has less positive representation within the media, or encouraging that because you do not care about how it affects black children. You do not understand how much colorism, texturism, and featureism hold us back as a community. You do not give a flying F. You're indifferent. And whenever I say we need to talk about black mothers being colorist, black mothers being texturist, black mothers being featurist, instead of acting like it is only men, it is only other communities. No, us. Part of the reason why darker children are the least adopted demographic in our communities is us. It is not just the men. A lot of you sell the idea that only black men hate coily hair. No, they hate it and so do we. We have nothing good to say about it either.
Listen, it's the new South Africa, and I'm allowed to say this. I'm not and the black people know exactly what I mean. The colored people know exactly what I mean as well. It's that hair that's just like steel coat.
All of you acts like it is just the men who hate our hair. We all hate our hair. We are all conditioned the same. We are all conditioned to hate black features. But you make these very important conversations that are about uplifting our community, about making sure our children see themselves, that they have a way brighter future than we had. All of you make it about a gender discourse, gender wars.
Line in this beat.
We cannot come together, those of us who wish to, and for those of us who wish to, we most definitely should, and talk about ways to make sure that laws that prevent black children from wearing their hair in schools are abolished. We should stand up against this with the F. They should take precedence. Why is our president not speaking on this?
Black girls have to cut their hair when they're so young. Yeah, like your hair is so much a part of your identity. So for you to cut that off, that's the first thing they did to the slaves when they got on the boat, is they cut their hair. And I'm a psychology major, so I understand what that does to someone mentally. You want to break them down, you want to strip them from their identity, you want them to feel that they have the sameness. Whereas I don't even think, if I had to cut my hair when I was younger, I don't even think I would be who I am, because through that creativity and like doing different styles with my hair, I feel like I've been able to shape my identity. So I feel like when you strip young Ghanaian girls of that freedom as a young black girl to grow their hair, it's a problem. And it also creates this dimension of like, if you come from a wealthy family, you can go to a school that won't force you to do it.
Yeah. But it's shocking to me. Why is she relating haircuts to slavery?
We do things without even knowing why we do it. It's like I don't know if you've heard about that experiment that they beat the monkey who goes for the banana. That is how many African culture or African lifestyle has been like. We are doing so many things that if you ask why we are doing it now, nobody can tell you why.
We should ensure that we promote a positive representation of darker skinned people, especially darker skinned girls, show more darker skinned families, instead of always circumventing it. We can't keep pushing back. We can't keep pushing back the need that needs to happen when it comes to colorism. We have to go forward now. A whitening of the race, Blanquillanto, Blanquillama, I don't know how they promote it. It is being pushed in America now. It is being pushed in the US now. Look at Brazil. Look at the Dominican Republic.
Without inherently casting judgment on any individual, I do think that America is starting to adopt a Brazilian, or perhaps more generally, Latin American approach to anti-black racism.
The reason why enforcing the one-drop rule here in South Africa is dangerous is because what happened in Brazil to black people in Brazil, it will happen to us. People will be able to talk about being black, things that affect black people without centering black people. Every feature will be a black feature, and at some point what a black person looks like, nobody will understand what that means, because all of you insist. All of you are literally also on the internet claiming Shaka Zulu is lighter skinned right here. For what?
Y'all need to let that one drop stuff go. Y'all claim biracial people as just black for the same reason that a lot of y'all were walking around claiming to be part Cherokee, Indian, or whatever. Because a lot of y'all have low racial self-esteem, and because y'all think that being just black is never enough. Black people are desperate for any and everybody to be black, and that's why everyone is so confused on what black is. That's why you have people who are hardly black to begin with surprised when their kid has blonde hair and blue eyes? Like, please, just let them people be biracial, please.
The reason why a lot of you are willing to make the black community a gateway from anyone that you deem exotic other to get in on, to walk through, is because you deem your group to have little to no value. The reason why black South Africans who are now subscribing to this rule will never ask that we all identify as colored, that we all identify as mixed, because those are identities that have more societal value than they own. Meaning you have to go to people who are placed above you and ask them to let you in. And why? Why would they do that? Why would they give up their exclusivity? Even though it would be more to our benefit if that happened. No, you want to think that further disadvantages us, the people who are already disadvantaged. You want to water down the black label and make it this inexplicable thing.
I hate to say this, but if mixed race celebrities that are musicians, artists, presenters, movie stars and whatever had done better at talking about what proximity to whiteness had done for them and what benefiting from colorism and anti-blackness had done for them, I do think some of these conversations that we were having as a diaspora would be much more positive and progressive.
And the reason why you're not going to go to the colored community and say let's all be colored, because you know that they respect themselves too much to do that. Why would they erase their history? Why the hell would they, having the problems that they have, allow a group of people who have their own set of problems to come in and cause more confusion? Why would they do that to their community? No, they won't. But you are insecure people who think you are insecure people who think being associated with people who look nothing like you is a big deal. It's nothing but you, it's a big deal. And you're willing to trade any and everything you can to have that.
But essentially, this one-drop rule was used as a way to gatekeep whiteness. And it's kind of funny because now I'm observing us doing the same thing to blackness. But I'm not saying it's not justified. Anyway.
But yes, like I said, we have to be honest. We as black women not liking our features, it is not nothing. You cannot just go online and say, so what if I don't like my hair? You call it civil rights hair. You're going to have children. A lot of you talk about how mothers should not have children without knowing how to take care of them. Unless it is a black child. Then if you're having a black child, oh no, who cares? Be poor. You don't know how to take care of the child's hair. You know nothing positive about the child's skin, just have them. None of you say, oh no, well, we are taught to be fatphobic. Black women were taught to be fatphobic. So it's fine. We can all just let's all have grace. A lot of black women are going to be fatphobic towards their children. A lot of black women are going to be fatphobic towards people in their community. You're not going to say that you're going to want black women held accountable. A lot of you are so harsh towards black women. Again, you're online claiming that DL men exist because of black women.
The hill I will forever die on is that black women are more homophobic than black men.
It's not straight men, it's not the church with them, it's not all of these structures, it's them. DL men who have more power in this system than black women. It's not their fault, it's black women.
I think one of the reasons why there is such a massive DL epidemic within the black community is because of the part that black women play in perpetuating homophobia.
You are all online championing that. Not when a white woman says it though. None of you came after the wizard Liz.
And this fucking gay ass, twink ass loser, ex of mine, is not gonna break anything. He didn't build me to destroy me.
These men that go on scooters together. Oh my god. No, seriously, what are you doing? So you are holding your homeboy like this? No. You're holding him like this? And you guys are driving around to town and you're telling me you're an alpha male. This is how you go to destinations.
But that's what they want. That's what
really
they want. They want to hold each other. And it's okay. It's okay, but you don't have to be angry at the women.
Because you all hate black women. You hate black women and girls. You will blame them for the most outrageous ish. But when it comes to holding us accountable for colorism, texturism, featureism, nothing, because it would actually be us fighting for something that would be to our benefit. And that is never a worthy fight. One where we benefit the most. That is never a worthy fight. Fighting for every other cause makes sense. Why? Because we are standing with others and we love others, we love otherness, or we adore it. Oh, it's okay to be insecure about our hair. Do not have a darker skinned, coily haired child. Do not have children with darker features if you want to normalize self-hatred.
And what really makes wearing your natural hair easier is when you come to terms with the fact that you're black. Yeah, baby, you're black.
You can only say positive things about lighter skinned, looser haired children. Do not have fully black children. Do not have darker skinned children. And nobody fucking run here and say our lighter skinned children can be fully black. A lot of people, as we understand it in society, because a lot of you will say how you are perceived matters, a lot of people perceive the darkest of our people with darker features, to be the blackest within our group. Whether you like it or not, that is just true. And when we talk about discrimination, they are discriminated against more because of that. Because of how well they fit into that box. That we are not going to lie about, especially in this era. That we're not lying about. We are not lying about that.
I have a self-hating black mom, okay? She raised me so deep into white proximity, right? She hates the fact that she had to have a kid with a monoracial black man and have my black ass. And even though I get mistaken for being mixed, or people assume I have a non-black parent, That's not enough for her, because she is so self-hating that when she left me when I was 14, she then went on to have half-white Dutch children. All of them, all 5 of them, all half-white and all Dutch, with 3 different men. Fuck, I'm yellow. Like, it's literally because my mind, I look at my skin and I think of my mom. And I hate that bitch. Like, people know, I fucking hate that fucking breeding cow. Fuck her. That's why it pisses me off. So this is something I definitely need to work on. I'm about to be a black girl that chance. Okay.
A lot of you need to start making black children learning how to take care of their coily hair a priority. It is a fucking priority. It is a bloody priority. It is our job. We owe them that. Understand kids needing love until it is black children. And we do not want to talk about how we dehumanize children, how we dehumanize black children just as well. A lot of our trauma about our hair, about our bodies, about how we see them, it comes from our mothers. You cannot keep giving grace to people who keep bringing children into this world. Children are the least protected class in our society. You cannot keep adultifying black children and acting like black people who do not do everything in their power to make sure that those children are raised in positive environments where they are assured as often as possible. You cannot keep saying those black people are just victims. You do not allow black women to be victims in anything else. Again, you confront them as about any and everything but that, and that needs to stop. No, colored South Africans are not black. We were never racialized the same. So you, the insecure black person, often go identify as colored. How do you identify as a colored instead of dooming our community over your insecure trashy ass? Stop that shit. Stop it. Go identify as colored. But again, you're not going to ensure that we can, because you're not going to go to a community you feel has value and tell them to devalue their community by giving up their exclusivity. But the lesser people, the lesser group of people who should be glad to take on anyone, the dumping ground, us. The ones who should give up their opportunities for proper representation, for jobs even. Yes, because the beauty industry is a job market, but you keep acting like it isn't. Those of us who will be impacted by this, you do not give a fuck, because when you get to identifying the colors.
And it's very difficult after years and years and years of communities culturally identifying by the colonizer's term. And when I say that we are black, because if they didn't put on the passports or on our IDs that we are colored, then we will be black.
This is something that has bothered me since I was old enough to start understanding the skin color stuff. So, mixed race people are mixed race, man. That's it. Not black. No nothing, no nothing. Saying mixed race people are black would be like saying mixed race people are white. It wouldn't make sense. So why would you say mixed race people are black when you can't say they are white when they've got some white in them? So it would be better if we consider mixed race people as mixed race. I'm sure some mixed race people would agree with me.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop aiding in black erasure, especially the erasure of darker skinned, coily-haired, darker-eyed girls. Stop. Stop promoting their erasure. Stop distorting what it means to look black. Stop thinking that it's okay because we will all pay for it in the end. And enough is flipping enough.
Black people erasure to keep claiming that people with literal mixed heritage, people who are literally half white, and I don't talking about if you're 25% white, because even then, girl.
All of you, for example, expect a black mother who does not have curly hair but coily hair to learn how to do her child's hair quickly if the child is biracial, because all of you think that combing that kind of hair is enjoyable, because again, you think black women hating black features explicitly and openly is a joke. They just keep that to themselves, that they need to bring it on the internet, that it leaves. No, they take it home. It came from home and they take it back. It stays there. They take it to work. They take it everywhere else. And we need to take accountability for that.
It might look a bit harsh or too much, but if you think about it, how can you tell me that if you let the kids keep their hair, they cannot think? I mean, seriously? So we are limiting our ability to think and reason to our hair. And even we cutting our hair, how much are we thinking? If you think about it.
Black children deserve better mothers. They do. And we need to take accountability. They deserve better mothers. I don't want to hear shit about, but black men are horrible. Yes, they are. And fuck them too. You are allowed to be horrible. This should not be about the child needing a parent who loves their features, adores them, and affirms them. It's a tug of war between which gender should do it. I don't care. You do not do this when it comes to other children. You do not do this.
I'm gonna make sure my daughter has long hair so she can have the choice. Like, can I get the choice? Can I at least see if I could like long hair? Okay, I want to cut it. I want to wear short hair, you know? I know when I have daughters, I do not want them to go through what I went through. I want them to be ahead of the curve and know how to take care of their hair. In my own community, how normalized it was to get a big chop, to wear wigs, to get braids, like to always cover up your hair, because that shit was not growing. You've never tasted long hair. It will always be a desire. I'm gonna speak for myself. It will always be a desire of like, what if, like, how come that didn't happen to me? Growing up, I remember little girls with hair to their waist and just being so confused. I'm like, when is that gonna happen to me? And being so obsessed with like hair growth, hair care, and literally never finding a solution. It's just never a length that we desire. Even when you get box braids, you're getting your waist length. Not many people get it up to here. with wigs. We're getting long wigs. I literally have extensions in my hair. I just want to make it my business to learn about hair care. I've even considered going to cosmetology school just so that I can learn exactly what it is when it comes to hair growth. Hair is a big thing. I know we try to say like, oh, hair's not a big deal, but to some of us it is.
A lot of children online, we see it on TikTok, their hair being ripped off by hairdressers who do not humanize them, who do not care that they're causing them that amount of pain because it's just a black child. When we joke about how the blacker a child looks, again, and we say wow when we're not on the internet pretending like this, that darker children are more hardened children, that children with curly hair are more hardened children, right? So we pull at the hair. So when people say we need to be honest about how easy it is to take care of black hair, that you spray it, that you put conditioner and that you comb it, that is a joke. But we see what that lack of knowledge does to these kids when they're in those chairs that we grew up on.
Natural hair is so unmanageable, but you've literally learned how to glue a lace, blend it in, curl it, style it. I've seen people do like ponytails with wigs. I've seen them do braided wigs, but you can't put your hair in a bun.
We grew up on those chairs. Our hairlines were destroyed in those very seats. But us speaking comes from nowhere. We just went to police.
I'm actually not done talking about the situation. I can't critique black women's harmful practices about their hair. I can't critique black women's negative connotations about their hair because now I'm policing black women. I'm no better than the whites. Okay, calm down. I literally knew, as soon as I mentioned wigs, the wiggers would come and get me, The support for me would damper because you know I'm right.
We do not have a hair industry that knows our hair at all, how to keep it healthy at all. We do not have one. Because the very black women who are taught to hate our hair growing up are the ones who take on these positions, who open these salons, and they call us in to further re-traumatize us, and we partake. And enough is enough.
Lack professionalism, lack the skill and understanding of black hair, and they just don't want to learn. There are salons everywhere in Central Durban, everywhere in South Africa. But you're telling me none of them want to learn. What do you mean you're using a rat tail comb to comb out this type of hair? Yo guys, I'm not saying all, I'm saying there are ones that are actually learning and adjusting and relearning, but the ones that have been around for a while, they don't want to. So I'm gonna have to find myself a colored hair salon.
Children are on Reddit forums talking about how they cannot wait to leave home so they can wear their hair because their mothers do not want them to wear their natural hair because they say it's ugly. Children have to learn that they're beautiful from outside sources on YouTube and pray to leave their parents so they can actually have the freedom to express themselves and to act like we are not a part of this. I hate when all of you guys are like, oh, black men cannot speak on the natural hair movement. They were mean. We were all mean, guys. When we are children, anti-blackness is something we all exhibit. We were all taught that we're scum for having black features. Yes, men get to benefit from patriarchy, but when it comes to hating black features, we were all taught that.
A lot of black men do not like the natural hair that comes out of their head. I'm manipulated, and they have to do things to make it do different things, The dislike for our hair starts at a very young age, right? Like, I remember that I was a kid talking to my mom, and she told me that she had a conversation with my dad about how I was not going to have long hair. It was always going to be short. Like, what? Funny how that turned out, right? But the thing is, this is something that is deeply embedded into the black community because, cough, colonization, right? This is like palm-colored man, And I feel like people forget that a lot of men who grow up like recently, who have like a lot of hair, were men who grew up not having that much hair, who were told to not have a lot of hair, who were told to go get haircuts. There's a reason why there's that whole trend like a few months back of those black men being like, oh, a man who had locks wants a boy who didn't have any hair. There's this whole thing about like how perfect your hair needs to be, how you need to have a crisp lineup, how you need to go to the barbershop 2 times a month, every other week, things like that. I've heard some of the most cruelest comments about hair from other black men in regards to myself and to other men. I remember this one boy didn't get a haircut and he was getting dragged by his friends. I remember when I started my lock journey and they were small and black men were dragging me. I'll talk to a black woman, they'll be like, oh, give us some time, they're gonna come out really nice. I love the size of them. Black men were dogging me for having small locks. I do believe that if it was socially acceptable, a lot more black men would be straightening their hair, or they would be, rocking like, I don't know, like 6-inch bust down middle parts, There is a reason as to why a lot of black men who can grow hair don't grow their hair. And the answer is, palm color supremacy, right? This is why I do think it is like really beautiful that so many black men nowadays are growing out their hair. I feel like that really is like a statement, even without them saying so. Oh, one more thing. A lot of black men don't actually know how black hair works. They don't know what to put in your hair to make it healthier, to make it thicker. A lot of them only go to the barbershop every 2 weeks. That's their thing. That's their hair care. Hair care is barber.
We were all in those playgrounds and we need to be real. We need to heal. We need to move on, forward, all of the things. But we're standing still. We're stuck in place, listening to excuses, excuse after excuse. Yes, I would love to live in a world where children wear their hair every day. Okay, fine. I'll give you 350 days instead of 365. Yes, I want afros to be the top thing, the top dog. Oh, you're policing. You're saying yes. I want coily hair to be the main event. I want it to be the main style. I want ideas about black women liking styles to go away because it just feeds into capitalism and it makes us feel basic when we're just being ourselves.
And I do expect to see you in that natural hair all 365 days of the year, including leap years. Excuse me, I don't give a shit. I'm always say something. I'm always, because you guys are fucking weirdos. You hate your hair. You hate your hair. You hate your hair.
I want that gone. I want us to talk about our hair like it's normal. I want us to stop saying we're growing long hair. No, I want us to measure it the way it's supposed to. We talk volume.
1. Unless your hair is super long, Afro hair does not cascade. It grows up and out. Recently, I saw a creator on TikTok point out how whenever we demonstrate how long our hair is, we say it's down our ears, or it's shoulder length, or it's bra length. Like, we measure our length as if our hair falls, rather than say our hair is this length or this length. And I thought to myself, oh my god, she's right. The colonial effects are so insidious, you don't even realize just how much they affect your self-image sometimes.
The coily hair movement needs to take form. It needs to grow bigger. It needs to get bigger and bigger. A lot of things are coming down the pipeline, and the erasure of black girls, especially darker girls, in the media is already underway. It is happening before our very eyes.
Because, no, riddle me this here. Cool. If you love wigs so much and you love your natural hair, why don't I ever see you in a kinky curly bust down? Why don't I see you in an Afro kinky ting? Why don't I see you in a half Afro kinky wig? Why? It's only either straight, Brazilian, Burmese, or what? Come on now. I'm all for self-expression, yeah? But you are doing harm to yourself unknowingly. If you only find yourself beautiful in looser curl textures that don't even mimic, yeah, the way your hair naturally is, you hate your hair. You're anti-black towards yourself. It's as simple as that. You like wigs, but you don't want to wear Afro kinky wigs. Never. But you have a whole collection of straight wigs.
The entire purification of South African media is coming. Look at Janasi. The entire purification of our image as black women is coming. We need to fight back. We need to be talking about better ways to promote our image in the media so our girls see positive images. Because these online forums where they're being dehumanized, where they're being spoken down to, where people are talking about where people are adapting the language that we use as black people again to degrade each other. People are adapting it and are throwing back in these kids' faces. And we need to fight back against that. We need to make sure that there's space where they can go to and their features are celebrated. And they put front and center, showcased, pride, with love. We need to fight back and denying our role in this, hiding away from this. It is going to spell our end, and we cannot do this. We need to fight back against colorism. Bleaching must fall. Dangerous chemical relaxers must fall. You do not get to call those things choices when black children are beaten down into choosing them by us, by their schools, by their institutions that govern us, in spaces of education where they have no choice but to go. Come on, you guys would be appalled if it was anything else.
Because believe it or not, there is a great portion of people of color in South Africa who hate themselves, who hate their culture, who hate their blackness, who hate their Africanity, who see themselves as inferior, who have an inferiority complex. And then in order for them to see themselves as important, they need to be parallel to whiteness. They need to be close into proximity with whiteness in order for themselves to look in the mirror and see something of importance. It's not to say that she is not proud of her hair. It's not to say that she does not love her blackness. But it is because she knows that the room that she is stepping into does not allow for her to love herself fully. She needs to have a certain level of black hate in order to sell this kind of image. Black women or as women of color. The first thing we need to do is stop pinning each other against each other. But there are different kinds of beauties, and those standards should not segregate us. But the difference in the fact that my hair is coily and your hair is curly and your hair is straight, those things should be stuff that we look at each other and we say, wow, I'm in awe of this. Wow, how do you do that? And we love each other for our differences, specifically to black women. We need to stop cutting certain parts of ourselves in order for us to be palatable to certain people, in order for us to be accepted into certain rooms. If they cannot accept us in our full blackness, in our full Africanity, kinks and all, doesn't matter if I'm wearing a wig, it doesn't matter if I'm wearing my Afro art, they cannot accept me in all facets, they should leave.
But whenever any power structure says, oh, fuck coily hair, you're like, hide it. But anything else you'll fight. Any other form of hatred you'll fight. Nobody would say, oh, the world is still homophobic, we still need jobs. And you're like, oh, let's just remain homophobic. Everybody hides your sexualities. You'd never say that. But when it comes to issues about black people and our features, our Africanoid features, nothing. Because we do not want to be honest that we feel the same way about them. We hate them. We hate them just as much as the system does. We don't see them as professional. We don't see our hair as such. We don't see it as worthy of showcasing. Why would we defend something we do not like? We need to fight back. We need to. Another thing before I go, a lot of you will talk about how mothers manipulate their daughters to worship men and to be pick-me's and pleasers and all of that stuff. But if somebody said mothers manipulate their daughters into hating their black features because they want to hold them back in life, that would be too much.
One of the deep conversations that we are not ready to have as an African community is that the reason why a lot of young Africans are currently struggling is simply because that is what their parents wanted for them. Yes, you might not like it, you might feel uncomfortable, but that is the reality.
All of you will say mothers will raise their children in a way that will put them in the arms of abusers, men who will beat them their whole lives. But the idea that a mother could teach that very child how to hate her features for the sake of humbling that child, that is too much. Saying that black mothers teach their black daughters that their features are ugly in order to humble them, that is going too far. That they want them to stay permanently fixed within their place in society. They do not want them to go up in this hierarchy. That they want them to know their place. And also, if you will be honest, that mothers will literally date men who touch children just to keep those men and will let them around their children. But when it comes to mothers teaching their black daughters to hate their black features, when we talk about mothers teaching their black daughters to worship otherness, that you don't want to speak on. That only people do to black mothers. They're only made to feel that way. It has nothing to do with them, their own thoughts and feelings. You will accuse black women of the worst, but when it comes to black children, no. Because again, you would be doing it to protect black children.
A lot of the advice that is given to the women in my community, it is rooted in jealousy and it is rooted in competition. They don't want you to wear a wig, they don't want you to wear a weave, they don't want you to get a perm, they don't even want your hair to be of a finer texture because they see it as competition because they do not have the leverage to be able to do the same thing. Men of other races, they really tend to not give a fuck about how black women are wearing their hair because it's like, they already have the hair texture. You know what I mean? They already have the coveted hair texture that is either of or close to Eurocentric features. So they don't really need to compete with you if you're wearing your wash and go or your fro or your locks or whatever natural style you got going on. Because no matter what you say about it potentially being self-hating, at the end of the day, socially, okay, if you socially look around, texturism is a thing and you are going to have more benefits, whether it be at work, whether it's going to be from attention from other people. In most cases, you're going to receive more benefits when you have your hair texture at play and it reflects a texture that is a little bit closer to Eurocentric features.
These mothers get their daughters the styles that they want to see. We went to the salons, our mothers said that they wanted us to look neat and they chose those styles. They told us that those were neat styles. We were not allowed to pick in the majority. Let's keep that back. Let us keep that back. We subtly learned that our hair was better when it was straight and that was passed down to us by our mothers. But you don't want them to be held accountable and you do not want fixing this to have urgency. Anything else, black women should get off their asses, educate themselves, do whatever, not when it comes to this. All right, and before I wrap this up, I want to say all of you agree that representation is needed for anything, any sort of phobia-ism that exists. You know, people who are targeted because of it, they must be represented. It must be seen in the media for people who possess those characteristics, who possess whatever those individuals are being targeted for. They should see it that way. They feel inspired. They feel motivated to be themselves. A lot of you do not care about this when it comes to black children. You do not care about this when it comes to coily hair. You do not care about this when it comes to darker girls. You don't because you hate black children. Say with everybody else, they're taught to hate their features, but we as black women and girls have gotten to this very shameless space where we are trying to convince people that hating your features when you're black is just so inherent to being black that it's just the only way you could experience life and have kinky hair. That is just so hard, that it's the kind of hair that any human should be mad they have. Like, you talk about us like we're aliens. We went from trying to prove that we're just as human as everybody else to trying to prove that we are different from other humans and that we have this curse on our heads. This hair that is, this unruly hair that is unmanageable.
Like, black men like women with straight hair. Like, they prefer straightened hairstyles. Like, and when I started wearing my natural hair, I had to be like, you know, I have to do it. I have to come to me first. I know that they are not gonna like this, whatever. As you can see, super thick, flourisy hair. About to wash my hair, so it's completely shrunken. Like, you know, men don't like this. Black men certainly don't like this. I was dead wrong. Why do black men love my hair? Like, completely natural.
You come on down, you generalize about our hair. You say things like black hair, not my hair. Black hair cannot do this. Black hair cannot do that. And then when you're confronted, it's policing because you're allowed to lie. You're allowed to mislead black people, black women, black children. You're allowed to, and you feel that you are.
You hate your hair. You hate your hair. You hate your hair. You hate your hair. You hate your skin color. You hate your features. You hate yourself. You hate yourself. You hate your hair. You hate your hair. You hate your hair. You hate your hair. You hate yourself.